Hello there everybody, Sam's Trains here, welcome back to the railway and welcome to another diesel video. So I have no idea why, don't ask me, but today I was just in the mood for some diesels and I also quite fancied some goods and some freight as well. So I thought why not mix the two together and try and do a bit of a running session. So as you can see, and this is quite cool actually because I've not done this before, but I've completely filled the sidings with all sorts of different goods, some of my favourite goods in fact, some of my best wagons. And I'm also going to run some of my favourite / some of my best diesels as well to make this a bit of a running session with a difference. So all there is to do now is show you which ones I've picked and I hope you enjoy them. Let's take a look. Alright, so here we are over at the turntable then with the first three diesels of today. I'm actually going to kick things off with this, which is a Class 66. It's a Bachmann one, known as Maritime one. And as far as the diesels go in this video, I think this is probably the most modern. And so really I had the mega boxes in mind for her because they're also quite modern too. So I'm going to get her off the turntable now. In fact, I'll start doing that while I tell you about them. So during the mid-1990s, the ageing fleet of British diesels was in desperate need of updating, and so the EWS placed what would be the largest order of British loco ever since the steam era. The Class 66 was produced in Canada actually, and they were first shipped to Britain in 1998. They were based on an earlier Class 59 design, which was known for its reliability. The Class 66 has replaced many older diesel designs, making them really instrumental in the modernisation of the British diesel fleet. But this, quite understandably I suppose, also made them a little bit unpopular with some classic diesel enthusiasts, because they were often blamed of course for the demise of the earlier diesel designs. A pretty mighty 455 of these were produced over nearly 20 years, the last produced was in 2015 I believe. Alright then, right, I think we are coupled. Now somehow I think I've managed to get this one backwards because Bachmann do fit drivers into the cabs of these engines, and the one in mine, all he can see at the moment is the front mega box, but that doesn't matter because I'm driving and he's not. But yes, if anyone noticed that, I apologise, I've only just realised it. Okay, let's have a quick run with this then, let's see if she can haul the mega boxes, and of course this engine can because it's pretty heavy. Will they stay on the track? Well, that's another thing, because these are quite well known, at least on my railway, for their derailings. So fingers crossed and we'll see what happens. Slow and steady does seem to be the secret though, I've noticed. Yeah, it feels wrong to let these mega boxes really race along. But if you leave them at a speed like this, they're normally okay. But they haven't done a complete lap yet, so I should hold my tongue, shouldn't I really? Looks good though, doesn't it? Makes you excited for the Hatton 66, which I am looking forward to now. Might have to try one of those with my EWS mega boxes. That'd look fantastic, especially if I got an EWS version, of course. You might have noticed that it's also a little bit of a motley collection of mega boxes, because some of them are Dapol, some of them are Bachmann, one or two of them are weathered, a few of them are pristine, and some of them don't have buffers. By design of course, they're not just broken. Some of them didn't have buffers apparently, but some of them did, and I've got a bit of both on this train. So yeah, as you can see, slightly motley collection, but looks alright to me. Hopefully it's not too irritating for folks to see that. Very nice. Well, I've enjoyed that, and I'm going to leave her to it then, and we'll move on. So here we are then, back at the turntable, ready for the next diesel. The next one I'm going to be looking at is this. This is a Class 22. Obviously a much older design than the Class 66, but a much newer model, which is a bit confusing to think about. But yeah, this is a Dapol Class 22, and I'm going to get her coupled up to, well, the train on the middle line there, which has got some quite old-fashioned rolling stock to suit the loco. It's even got a brake van, so that gives you an idea of the era. So let's get this off the turntable. There we go, let's get that started. The Class 22 actually earned the nickname Baby Warship as a result of their similar appearance to a much larger Class 41 warship design, which we're going to see later on, hint hint. These early diesel hydraulics were first introduced to the western region of British Railways in 1959, and 58 of these were produced in total over the following few years. Like very many new designs, there were a number of teething troubles and reliability issues to begin with these, but unfortunately in the time it actually took to fix these issues, much larger and much more powerful diesels had been made more readily available, meaning that the Class 22 spent most of their time in service just taking more secondary and minor duties. The class were eventually withdrawn between 1967 and 1972 after a relatively short, or probably very short actually, working lifetime of as little as 8 years, and sadly none of them were preserved. Alright, woo, bit too quick there, but has it coupled, that's the question. No. Try again, perhaps it needed to be hard. No, or perhaps it doesn't matter how hard you do it. Right, one final try. There we go. What do you reckon, folks? Don't know if that's how they do it in real life, but either way, it's coupled now, so it works for that anyway. And as you can see, yes, a slightly Great Western flavoured train, because of course they are Western region, as I say. And I think I would probably go ahead and say that this is more or less my best diesel. I can't think of another diesel that I've got that is better quality than this. If you can think of one that I might have that's better, do let me know down in the comments. But yeah, as far as my memory serves me, I think this is about the best I've got. And of course it's a very good runner too. I suppose I might have gone a bit too old-fashioned with the rolling stock, but oh well, it looks alright, doesn't it? It's a nice excuse to get the toad going again. Look at this, nice bit of realism for you. I'm not using feedback controllers anymore, which means as soon as the locos hit an incline of any kind, they will slow down a tad. And you could definitely see that there with the Class 22. Alright then, lovely stuff. So time now then to move on once again, and we'll look at a slightly different type of diesel. So here we are back on the turntable for the last time in the first half, and we have the one and only shunter of the day left, and it is of course the Janus shunter. And she's got a little bit of a train as well. I've set her up with some wagons, some open wagons there, a bit of a mixed goods train really, with a brake van on the end, because of course she'd only be doing shunting really, so I didn't want to go overboard. So the Janus shunters were built by the Yorkshire Engine Company, and they were mainly used in the British steel industry, with a few exceptions, as you can tell by this one really. 102 Januses were built in total between 1956 and 1965. The name Janus was also used to describe an ancient Roman god with two faces, and it's easy to see how these shunters inherited that name due to their symmetrical nature, with of course two fronts. And they even had two engines, one at each end, so yes, very easy to see how they got that name. These days the majority of the Janus shunters have been disposed of, but there are just over 20 still in existence, many of which are still in service, since only 7 of them are actually in preservation, so the rest are truly still at work. Hey, successful coupling, can you believe it? Call the Guinness World Records. So I wasn't 100% sure whether I would include the Janus in this or not. I thought maybe I would just stick to proper big diesels, but as a very, very good shunter, one of the best I've got, I thought I will throw it in, but otherwise I'll stick to big diesels. But yes, I thought it would be at least worth throwing one shunter in there just to represent them a little bit. And this is a good runner too, although a little bit of stickiness on the turntable, as I'm sure you saw. I tell you what though, I certainly never expected to be running this Janus alongside the likes of the Class 66, that's for sure. I can't say that the two have ever encountered each other before, at least not on my railway, but now they have. Yes, looks like the start of a beautiful friendship, doesn't it? But I know who's going to wear the trousers, that's for sure. Little and large, there you go, there you have it. So there you go, the first 3 of my best diesels. Let me know what you think so far. Are they worthy of being called the best? I think so, especially that 22. But if not, there's still time for me to redeem it because I've got 3 more to show you. So with that, I'm going to whip these off the track. Oh no, sorry. They're going to disappear onto the main line and deliver their goods. There we go, that's what's going to happen. And when they've gone, I will introduce 3 more diesels to move the goods from the rest of the sidings. Okay, well, I'll be right back. So I reckon I must have gotten a bit too excited because I've done too many trains. I've only got 3 more engines to show you, and as you can see, I have 4 trains. So, not sure how that happened, but at least I get to choose, I suppose, this way. So, the next engine is coming along now. It is, of course, a Warship, which normally I would associate with passenger trains, possibly because I'm ignorant, or possibly because they mainly did that. But of course, she's not doing that today because it's a freight session, so I'm going to get her coupled to one of the different freight trains that I've got ready. And while I do, I will tell you all about the Warships, or the Class 42s. The Class 42 consisted of 38 Bobo locomotives, and they were introduced in the late 1950s. The class was actually based on a German design known as the V200, although the British warships were slightly smaller to suit the British loading gauge. The engines were introduced to the Great Western region of British Railways, just like the Class 22 or Baby Warship was, in order to replace, in fact, the last of the steam locomotives, known of course as the King and Castle classes, which were some of the final steamers to be withdrawn on the Great Western. All but 2 of the class were scrapped after their withdrawal between 1968 and 1972. Alright, so the front wagon has derailed, which probably means it's a good time to move on. Is it going to all end badly? No, it's fixed. So yeah, quite a nice looking train, almost quite Christmassy really, with those red colours. I'm going to leave her to it then, and we will move on. I'll introduce you to the next diesel. Alright, here we have yet another slightly smaller diesel, similar in size really to the Class 22, perhaps even a little bit smaller. It is of course the Class 26. Now the Class 26, as I say, was a smaller class of diesels introduced in 1958. They actually sported 1,160 horsepower engines, and they were also capable of speeds of up to 80 miles an hour, so quite formidable really for their size, and that of course made them suitable for both commuter and for goods work. Droopy coupling alert, folks. 47 of these were built in total over only 2 years, and eventually they were all sent to Scotland, where they worked until withdrawal took place during the 1970s and 1980s, I think it was. The 26s were still in good running order at the time of withdrawal, but there was little demand for these smaller diesels by that time, and so they began to disappear, which is a little wasteful of course. Nonetheless, a healthy 13 examples remain in preservation, so it's not a dead loss of course. Yes, unfortunately the couplings on this one droop like, I don't know, like an old dog's cheeks or something. So if you want to couple to anything, you have to do it by hand, which is really annoying. But once again, typical poor Helgen quality, unfortunately. It's only really Helgen locos that I have that problem with. Lovely jubbly. So there's one more engine still to show you today, and it's another one of my best. It's one I've had for a long while and I do love it. So here it comes now. Finally then, a real classic, this one. I don't think I could do one of my favourite diesel running sessions without including this. So it is of course the very lovely Class 37 from a manufacturer that we're seeing for the first time today right now. It is V-Trains, not one I talk about very often. But yeah, the Class 37 was also known as the English Electric Type 3, and they were introduced in 1960. Quite impressively, over 300 examples were produced between then and 1965. British Rail actually ordered 42 of them in 1959 without even trialling them, putting them to work straight away. This did pay off though, since many of them actually remained in service as late as the 1990s, which was long after most other Type 2 and Type 3 locomotives had been withdrawn. The class were overhauled and some were even rebuilt though to ensure that they worked well into this period. The 37s operated a mixture of passenger and freight duties, and interestingly some were even fitted with boilers for steam heating, a feature which of course carried on from the steam era. The 37s of course are still very popular engines, and countless examples still exist today, and they can be seen at various heritage railways. Among the remaining Class 37s is D6700, which is important because that was actually the last one to be built. Yes, it does slow down. Again, no feedback, so it's a bit different to the way things used to work on this railway, but Mike pointed out that it is quite realistic for engines to slow down on gradients, so it may seem like locos are struggling, which I'll have to get used to, but apart from that, I like the realism. Got the 37 coming through the sidings this time, which with hindsight is a bit dodgy because of all the wagons she's got, but we'll see if she can do it. She got in alright. She's speeding up. It really is like there's a little driver inside there. I do quite like the inconsistency in speed. It might be a problem for reviews, I don't know. But yeah, it makes for more interesting viewing, I suppose. So there we are then folks, some of my best / favourite diesels, and do let me know which your favourite one was in the poll. And also down in the comment section, if you have a favourite diesel or a best diesel, let me know which one it is and why. And also let me know, do you want to see more diesels or would you rather I stick with steam? I've really enjoyed this actually. Generally speaking, diesels are absolutely fine with me in small doses or smallish doses. And so I'm more than happy to do the odd diesel video. Obviously, I'm never going to stop doing steam. That's always going to be my passion. But look at that. Just that 37 coming along looks superb, doesn't it? And that's the reason I do these things. So yeah, if you agree, if you'd like to see more diesels from time to time, do also let me know in the comment section, and I will do so if enough people want. Alright then folks, well I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. It's been really nice actually just to do an old-fashioned style running session again. I've not done just straight running for quite a while, so I've enjoyed that for a change. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it too, of course. Obviously that's the whole point. And with that, thank you for your time, thank you for watching, have a great day, have a great week, and I will see you all very, very soon. Cheers folks, have a good one.